If you have come into this space and into this room making an exception to where you can find the face of God, you're going to be very uncomfortable today. Everyone okay with being uncomfortable? Yeah, we're going to get uncomfortable today. So what we already got uncomfortable is we tried to open up clay. You all get some of the clay when you got in here? I had about 6 women with very long nails going, I'm not doing this, I'm sorry. I like Unity North, but I'm not breaking a nail for it. Find somebody to open that for you. But the reality is it's our basic tenet and teaching that everywhere I look, I find the face of God. And I invite you to begin our talk today with surveying your life, bringing to mind and to heart and to spirit all the people in your life, the ones that you love, the ones that you don't love, the ones in your family that you get along with, the ones in your family that you don't get along with, the people at work. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God, even when it is difficult, even when I am uncomfortable. I want to put a premise out there today that everyone who crosses your path, everyone, every single person that crosses your mind, your eyesight, or your hearing is there for a divine purpose. There are no accidents. And so when you're getting irritated or upset with somebody, it is not an accident. It's an opportunity. Yes? Every person in my life is an opportunity. Say that with me. Every person in my life is an opportunity. Every person is a collection of unique experiences, unique opinions, unique life experiences that have caused them to be who they are today. And if we don't stop and look, we miss the experience that maybe created the opinion. We miss the experience that maybe created the person, and maybe we miss a part of God interacting with another part of God because our judgments are more important than oneness. We talk about oneness, right? Is oneness the priority in our life? Well, it is, as long as I'm comfortable. And the reality is that oneness is the goal. It needs to stay at the top of the list of our desires for the world. Each person is a unique set of beliefs, ideas, perspectives as they traverse their way through this earthly experience. What an amazing, look around, what a lovely day, what a potpourri of opinions we have in the room. Of expressions, a cacophony of opportunities to look beyond my own limitations and my own experiences and to grow, to stretch, to learn, to evolve, and yes, prove oneness. Even when I'm angry, even when I'm upset, I get to prove oneness because it is my priority. So say that with me with your hand upon your heart. Oneness is my priority. We're going to explore oneness today. We're going to explore unity today, but I want to begin with just looking and giving thanks for God's amazing disguises, for God's amazing masks and the manifestations of God that have shown up on this planet at this time. Isn't it interesting? Here we are in an election year. Isn't it interesting? Sometimes we say that and it's like, isn't it interesting? It's a reality. You know, we say all the time in this community, many paths, one God. Say that with me. Many paths, one God. And that feels good. Can we say many people, one God? Many people, one God. Oh, I guess you answered my question. You can. Maybe with a little bit less enthusiasm. How about this one? Many perspectives, one God. Many ideas, one God. Many personalities, one God. Together? Can we answer yes to those questions? If we're going to be in congruity with what unity is all about, we cannot waffle in a resounding yes. We cannot waffle and make an exception to where we find the face of God, or the house we have built is on sand and it's going to crumble, even when it is difficult and uncomfortable. Now, today I'm going to say some things, and I'm going to invite you because we are embarking on a journey for the year, the whole year of Unity North. So I'm going to ask you to suspend your yeah buts. You know, sometimes we are Unity folk. We like to come in, nice idea, yeah, but. Yeah, but. I'm going to give you an entire year of yeah, buts. If you put your butt in the seat, I'll give you butt to challenge what I do. Yeah, buts that's an important part of our evolution. And so there's going to be yeah, buts to this journey we're going to take for the year. suspend them today so we can just have a soft intro into the year and our celebration of diversity and unity as partners. Yes? Are you good to do that? Unity means a lot of things, but it never once has meant conformity. It has never meant uniformity. If you and I think exactly alike on everything, then one of us is dispensable. If everybody comes in here and thinks exactly alike, you might as well stay home because nobody's growing, nobody's learning, and we're not putting the pieces of God back together that show up as community in a diverse relationship. The statements that I've made already today indicate a relationship between unity and diversity. A oneness of source, yes, but a diversification of expression. Vitally important to the well-being of the planet. We're a tapestry of threads, all different colors, shapes, sizes, opinions, and perspectives, all woven together to create something beautiful that is the human race. Unity means a lot of things, but not conformity. I'm going to go to St. Paul, and for those that know me, I don't go to St. Paul very often. Reading St. Paul is a bit of an acid trip. And if there is somebody, everywhere I look, I see the face of God, but sometimes in St. Paul's face and St. Paul's writings, it is really hard. So I'm going to go head on. Diverse thought that Paul has, and sometimes he changes his mind all in one of the books that he's written. All within one verse and chapter, he's changed his mind and said something different. But he said a lot of really important things that are important as a foundation for our year ahead. He offers an illustration of laying out the essential principles of unity, diversity, and mutual dependence. Let's put the first slide up there. Can you all read that? I can't read it from where I'm at without my glasses, so I'm going to look here, but I invite you to join me as we say together. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. Lord is just law. It's the law operating at the human level of experience. We put laws into play. So it's the same law that's operating for everybody. Together, there are different kinds of working, but in all of them, it is the same God at work. For just as the body is one and has many members, all the members of the body, though many, are one body. My grammar teachers, my English teachers might have a problem with St. Paul too. But the reality is there's some real truth in there, isn't there? And it's important to recognize that what Paul is talking about is unity, diversity, and the interconnectedness of the human race. All essential components. He challenges, clearly in his scripture, any notion of exclusivity or hierarchy. You know, I've said for a long time that the cause of all suffering on the planet is going to be greater than and less than. Better than, less than. The world's been singing a tune, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Everything belongs. Everybody belongs. Or the house we've built is on sand. Breathe with me. Everybody belongs, even the people that make us uncomfortable. There cannot be an exclusivity or a hierarchy to the human race. And Paul encourages a perspective that values the unique contribution of every single part. And he argues pretty emphatically against any notion of better than and less than, asserting that no part can claim superiority or insignificance. And that means your judgment of another person, and it also means the judgment of yourself. You know, with the foster kids, as parents, we used to say to them when they'd say, "I'm so stupid." I said, nobody talks about my kids like that. Nobody will talk about my kid like that. So we're talking about a superiority or an insignificance that's self-judgment as much as it is judgment of the world, yes? Breathe that in. How many people judged yourself already this morning? In a good way. God, I am marvelous. He continues in that scripture, I don't know if it's up there. Do we have the next line? Let's say it together. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Stop there for a minute. Anybody been placed out of your heart? Anybody in your 39 years on the planet ever have placed somebody outside the level of your love? The reality is that that's what we do as human beings. It's what we're doing to a great degree on the planet right now. The human ego takes charge and says, many paths, one God, just not that one. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God, just not you. We do that. And let me tell you, I know somebody came to mind already for you. Just not you. Yeah, I know who that is. And the reality is we separate ourselves based on our comfort, based on our need to be better than somebody else because our ideas are different. But the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet. It's a clear metaphor for the potpourri of human existence and human expression, which is divine expression. The scripture also comments on the interdependence of these diverse parts of the body and of the human body. A body only functions harmoniously when each part plays its role, and unity is disrupted when one part is neglected or diminished. He writes this, together, if one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together. Let me tell you, folks, once again, there is no private good on the planet. And there is no private suffering on the planet. If one of us is suffering, we all suffer. We're in this experience together, connected. And so how many people have ever thought you should have gotten something that somebody else got? Oh, come on, that's what the human ego does. Oh, they shouldn't have that. They didn't earn that. How did they get that blessing? They didn't earn it. Let's just separate some more. Let's create some more duality and try to rip at the fabric of unity and oneness. Your suffering is also my suffering. And when I see a brother or a sister who is down, torn down, discriminated against, belittled, or marginalized in any way, I must take that on as my own personal suffering. Because there is only one of us in the room. There's only one of us here, folks. Say that with me. There's only one of us here. Look around the room at the beautiful tapestry of creation. There's only one of us here. All of St. Paul's writings are basically unity, fancy words, fancy ways and metaphor to say this: we belong to each other. Say that with me. We belong to each other in a multi-expressional human body of oneness. Plain and simple. You can work really hard, but the more hard you work at separating the goats and the sheep, which is the most misunderstood scripture, goats and sheep belong, so do llamas, so do donkeys. And you know who the donkeys are. I've been known to be an ass once in a while in my life as well. The scripture is calling us to recognize and celebrate all at the same time unity and diversity as an interconnected necessity. Unity and diversity as an interconnected, inseparable necessity. And where does it begin? It begins in consciousness. Well, it begins in truth at the Big Bang when God decided to create out of itself and make all of us. But it lives and breathes and has its being in consciousness. So what you're thinking is either tearing down the world or building it up. Plain and simple. This is going to be the focus for the entire year. We're going to be celebrating in February Black History Month. We're going to have many voices on this platform sharing things that might make you a little uncomfortable. I want to go there. I want to be uncomfortable so there can be a greater sense of oneness. We just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. Somewhere he's going, yeah, you did a little bit of work, but you got a long way to go. We're going to be celebrating National Coming Out Month this year. National Women's Month, Women's History Month. So get ready, men. We're going to cultivate our divine feminine in March. We're going to have an interfaith series of talks where we explore the truth found in Islam, in Judaism, in paganism, and in honoring the indigenous people of our nation, of our planet. We're going to do all this. And some of it might feel very foreign. Tough luck. I invite you to get uncomfortable and come into the room and celebrate the diversity and the interconnected web of life that lives here in this Unity North Church. and make a big deal about it and then go tell everybody that's what we're doing. You all received a small bit of clay. Pull it out. And if you had trouble opening it, get the pliers. And we want to make a special offer for those of you who watch online. Often you go, oh, I didn't get any clay. I didn't get the special giveaway. Right? Call the office. We've got clay for you too. Operators are standing by. But we can send this clay to you so you can feel a part of the community, because you are. I'm asking you right now where you are, and if you don't want to do it now, do it at home, is to mold it, shape it, create it, manifest it, do something with your little piece of clay. Just make something. Create something. And I'm going to invite you that whatever you create, that you put it on an altar somewhere at home. You put it on a windowsill so you can see it every morning when you get up, and to carry this throughout the year. This is one symbol of many where you're going to have that symbol to keep at the forefront what you are deciding to make with your life. Each of us is going to create something different, right? We're not going to create exactly the same thing. Nobody in this room is going to create exactly the same thing. In fact, God's many shapes and colors and textures, all the colors are different. But it's still the same kind of substance. It's the same substance, that which is standing underneath all creation, manifests as many colors, shapes, and sizes. Anybody like me? In art class, they give me a lump of clay, and I had the best intention. I'm going to make an elephant. I'll make a giraffe. This will be a turtle. At the end of the day, it was always an ashtray. I made the most wonderful ashtrays, which is funny because nobody in my house smoked. I don't know what my parents used them for. Something tells me my father went to the shooting range and said, pull. But the reality is we're not going to create the same thing here. You're going to mold it and shape it, and we're all going to create something different. I want you to look at God as this clay. God as the substance, the energy, the force behind all life is like that clay. It is given a small piece of itself into your care and keeping. Into your hands has God placed itself. This is the whole meaning of John 3:15. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. No, God so loved the world that it gave its divine essence into your care, into your hands, into your keeping. And a lot of people are going around the planet and they're singing that song, that beautiful Ricky Byers song, use me, oh God, I stand for you. And we're praying, oh God, use me for a greater purpose. And there's nothing wrong with that prayer, absolutely nothing wrong with that song, but I'm asking you to get uncomfortable and to reverse it. Because the very essence of the universe has spoken to you when creation began and put the clay into your hands, itself into your hand, and said, use me. Use me. Life as the power, the only power at work, has created you and said, now use me, mold me, shape me. And I used to sing all those songs in the Methodist Church about God is the potter and I am the clay. What if we were to turn that completely around? That God is the substance of life and you are the potter. Oh my God, that's arrogant. That's spiritually arrogant. It is spiritually arrogant not to use what has been gifted to you to create a more kind, loving, beautiful place. It is spiritually arrogant not to take the gift that God has placed itself at the level of every cell of your being, your mind, and your heart, and to not use it. It's telling you create. The one and only commandment from the infinite universe, which is not a personality, is saying create. Here I am. The kingdom of heaven has been placed into your hands. Now go create and use me. You see, a story needs to die. And that's the story of this personality God, first of all created in man's image with a big beard. We've kind of gotten rid of that idea, but we have not gotten rid of the personality. That clay, does it have a personality? You can give it a name if you want. It does not care what you do with it. By law, it says, here I am, use me. Some things you're going to mold and create and you're going to love, and other things will look like an ashtray that you won't love. Some things are going to feel really good, and some things aren't going to feel really good, but here's the best part of the equation, grace. I get to choose. That clay is very moldable. You make something and you go, I don't like it. I can choose to do something different with it. That's your life. That is your life. I don't like the way I showed up yesterday. Great. Make a different choice today and show up differently. That's how powerful you are, and there's not a capricious personality energy that's going to say, no, Marie, do it my way. So many people are teaching that there's this God, this great being in the sky that says, here is the gift of life. Now do exactly what I say you need to do with it. Create exactly what I think you need to do so that everybody's molding the same elephant. And everybody's elephant looks the same. It's the same color, it's the same texture, and believes the same way. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I've used elephants and donkeys today in my metaphors. Stay tuned. And if you've got any yeah buts, say them for next week. Some stuff we're creating we like and we don't like, but we get to choose differently. And each of us has been challenged by the universe itself, the clay, the energy, the life force, to take the one substance and to let our distinctive, unique, individual, quirky, idiosyncratic, quirky, eccentric ways and mold the life that we are now living. How's it working for you? Sam, it's okay, pretty good. You know, it's like that old joke where the guy is having a conversation with God, and he says, wow, God, it's a great day today. It's just really great. I haven't been mean. I haven't been angry. I've been happy. I've been joyous. I guess I'd better get out of bed. I'm asking us to get out of our comfort zone, our little Betty Bye with our binky, and say, let's get uncomfortable and still know that we can mold our clay in our own idiosyncratic way. We live in a realm of pure, unrestricted expression. Take your hand upon your heart and make that person personal as you say that. We live in a realm of pure, unrestricted expression. Together, we live in a realm of pure, unrestricted expression. Now, your mind was going, wait a minute, they put different words up there. That's not what he's saying. Now say this with me. I wanted that one first. Together, unity of substance does not mean a uniformity or conformity of expression. It's all one clay. But the realm of pure, unlimited creative expression means it can be molded in a multitude of ways. Unity beckons us to appreciate the beauty found in our differences and in the multifaceted ways that you all express. Now, if it's possible that we don't like what I created, is it really possible that somebody next to you is creating something with their energy, life force, their substance of life, their clay, that you don't like? Is it possible? Come on, let's get real with each other. Come on, let's get real. You know, there are people in my life that are my greatest teachers. I think of modern art. The first time I went to a modern art museum, I was a little bit ignorant. And I go, a monkey could have painted that. I have better pictures on the refrigerator that my 4-year-old child painted than that. And then somebody lovingly called out my ignorance. Someone kindly called out my ignorance, and I appreciate modern art now more than I ever did when I was asleep. Well, is it possible that somebody is creating a life where you cannot find the beauty, you have not been able to find the good, but maybe you're ignorant? Uh-oh, here come the yeah buts. That somebody is creating something that feels ugly to you, that feels violent or destructive to you. I'm saying that our reactions to those works of art, because everywhere I look, I find the face of God. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. That my reaction to what I see somebody making with their clay is more important than the original work of art in of itself. I hope I'm getting clear about that. How I am responding to you, to everyone, to the people I love, the people I don't love, is more important to the healing of the planet today than it's ever been before. It's more important to the evolution of the human race. There are lots of ways that we can respond when somebody's molding clay and we go, I don't get it. Here are some ways that the world has responded and to elicit change. Next slide, please. Number one, we can notice and we can ignore. And I want to add to that ignore because we don't really ignore. What we do is, oh my gosh, what Lee is creating, I don't like that at all. I notice it, I ignore him, and then I go to lunch. Have you seen what Lee is creating? Oh my God, that is the ugliest ashtray I've ever seen. He thinks it's an elephant. No, and a lot of people do that. Does anything change in that environment, or does it get worse? It gets way worse. We're adding energy through the very vehicle for creation, our words and our thoughts. We're creating it and we're making it worse. So, but a lot of people do that. Then we can notice and we can comment and we can critique. Lee, I really don't like what you're doing with that energy of life force that you got going on there. I don't like the thoughts and ideas behind that. And then walk away. I noticed and I commented. Does anything change? Maybe there's a subtle change, or maybe I've just hurt his feelings, or maybe nothing could. Lee's not going to get his feelings hurt. That's why I'm picking on him today. But there's very little change that can happen. And then what most of the world is doing, and let's just call it elephants and donkeys, are doing it at the big time right now on the face of the planet, and we're in a political season, and it's going to happen to a greater degree. I kind of like to be in the middle and be the turtle, I don't know. But we grab the clay. Let me grab Lee's clay and tear it down. It's awful. It's stupid. It's terrible. It's evil. What happens? I get what I believe. It's terrible, it's awful, it's evil. Now this is really hard because there are things you want to judge. Pay unto Caesar what is Caesar's is my favorite scripture. There'll be consequences for ugly creation. If Lee creates something ugly, he's going to invite ugly into it. But I don't want to be a part of that equation. I don't want to be the one that tears down. I want to find a higher way. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I believe Dr. King said this, leaves all of us blind and toothless. And I think there's a lot of blindness on the planet today. So I want to choose a higher expression. Number 4, seek to understand. Lovingly offer a non-attached, non-judgmental, different perspective and simply plant a seed. What are you making, Lee? I don't understand. Help me understand. What's your perspective? Help me, educate me as to what's going on there. And then be willing to share a different perspective in love. Not higher perspective, the hand is better than the foot. The eye is better than the brain. The heart is better than the brain. Let's get into World War III and let's fight about clay. And miss the opportunity that maybe Lee takes his clay, I take my clay, and we create something together that's more beautiful because we're willing to listen to each other. We're willing to sit down across the table and create something that could be a work of art. Sonia Osillo, how many know Sonia? Sonia, she's our resident artist here. She teaches clay to teaches how to mold clay. There's several of her students in the room. And to a person, those students have been touched by the approach, number 4 there, that Sonia has taken to their art. They're signing up and doing clay for the first time. And they're sitting there going, I feel totally inept. And I'm watching what she's creating with her clay and what I'm making with my clay, and it doesn't feel so good. And many times it's pretty primitive looking. Yeah, they're all better than me. I'd still have an ashtray. I don't know. But what Sonia does is she approaches the lump of clay that looks like it's been trying to be formed into something, not with judgment. What are you trying to make here? Juanita is one of the students. What are you trying to make here, Juanita? Tell me. Oh, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Oh, that's a good idea. Have you thought about this? No, I haven't thought about that. Why don't you try it? Or how about, may I touch your clay? And she does this, and she's an artist. That woman can have, you remember Bob Ross? Yeah. God, that guy blew me away. He could take a brush and a little brown, a little white, tree. And I said, I can do that. And I go, a little brown, a little white, modern art. But the reality is she goes to each student, and every single student in her class has had the same experience. I felt so loved. I felt so appreciated with what I was trying to create. And then the master's hand, the touch of the master's hand said, have you considered doing this? Twist. Oh, an elephant. Oh, a donkey. Oh, a heart. And then she works with the hands of the people. She says, now you do the same thing. And suddenly the students are doing something new that they didn't even know was possible. But it takes a loving teacher, a loving master. How many loving masters and teachers do we have in here that can sit in the middle of somebody being an SOB in front of you and say, help me understand? You know, a lot of suffering is going on the planet, and there is no private suffering, but it masquerades as bad behavior. It masquerades as duality and as fight. And maybe there's a work of art that can happen if we can be the first one to step back and to say, tell me more. If we can be the first one that says, explain to me what you're trying to create. And we will get into political discussions, but I had meetings in this community 8 years ago, conservatives and liberals. And what I left with is everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants the same thing. And I talked to my Baptist friends and my Muslim friends, and I talked to my atheist friends. We all want the same thing. And the only way we're going to get there is if we sit down and have the loving master's touch that doesn't condemn, smash your clay, tear your clay apart. But wait a minute, they tore my clay down first. We have gone to middle school all over again, the middle school schoolyard. He hit me first. They started it. I'm not going to say that affirmation. I'm very tired of they started it mentality. That is middle school, and I want to evolve past middle school. I want to evolve to a different place and be a little more Sonia-like. Tell me why you think that. Tell me how you came to that conclusion. Tell me why you feel that. Oh, have you considered another way? Maybe we try something together. I want you to go away and into this year with your clay that's going to sit somewhere, knowing that your reaction and your response to somebody's creation, no matter how different, how foreign, or how ugly you have deemed it to be, is more important to healing than the original expression. I want to be real clear about that. My reaction to somebody's creation, somebody's clay, to Lee's creation, is more important to the evolution of the planet than his original creation. No matter how different, foreign, or ugly I have judged his ashtray to be. Somebody might be perpetuating something on the planet right now, and it's going to happen politically, that I don't find very attractive. I just don't find it attractive. Maybe they're even reaching across the table and tearing my clay apart. And they're doing it verbally, emotionally, mentally, and physically, tearing my clay apart. My reaction in love, which is, let's follow the way shower, the elder brother, the master teacher. He didn't fight an eye for an eye or tooth for a tooth. He said, let love lead. Let love be the way. That reaction will break the cycle of where we are heading. And I don't like where I look where we are heading, so I'm going to turn the cheek and look a different way. Love must have its way. Here, take my clay. Before you destroy it, take it and work with it for a while. Let me take yours and try to understand it. Hey, better yet, let's get together for coffee and let's have a conversation with our clay becomes one. Our clay, our ideas, find the common balance, the common purpose, the common destination. No, they hit me. They hit me first. Yep, let yourself hurt. But there's suffering underneath there. I want to spend a lot less time blaming who started ripping up clay first. This year of diversity, I want to spend a heck of a lot of time fighting about who kicked who first, who assaulted or hurt or insulted somebody first, and start being concerned about how we're building up the world that we're heading towards. That can only happen if I am the one that's finding unity in the midst of the diversity. Honoring the diversity, but finding the oneness that's underneath the surface that neither one of us can see yet. I want to be the one that sees it. I want to be the one who hears it. I want to be the one who molds it. I want to be the one who allows it even when it is painful. Maybe then we can collectively build something greater. The word integration, it's a word we use a lot. It means whole or intact. That's the world I'm moving towards. A world of integration. Comes from the Latin, whole and intact. Ours is to find the way in the midst of all these unique opinions, faces, expressions of God, with all their beliefs, opinions, perspectives, and somehow be the one who integrates them, who weaves them together and finds peace where nobody else can find it. Finds love where nobody else is looking for it. This means the loving master's hand that molds the clay, not the hand of a middle schooler perpetuating a system of tearing down that clearly isn't working. You started it. Unity is not a monotonous spirituality. It is a tapestry that resonates with the vibrancy and necessity of myriad threads. I'm going to invite the band to come back up. How you respond is essential. We are a movement with a foundation of respect and understanding. And if your respect and your understanding only stands that the people around you are agreeing with you, is a house built on sand. Be the respect you want to receive. Be the love you want to receive. Be the change that you want to see. This is the challenge of our evolving spirituality. And in doing so, we cultivate a oneness that is not fragile. A unity that is not a fragile idea, but it is robust. It is strong, and it stands the winds that are about to happen on the planet with an election. It stands the test of time that does not waver. Unity must be inclusive and not exclusive. And you as an individual are being challenged as a Unity student. You're in the room, whether you're here for one time or you're back, you're a Unity student. To let your spirituality be inclusive and not exclusive. Close your eyes for a second and bring to mind the face of that person that you shut outside of your heart. You may not have ever interacted with them, you've just heard about them, or you saw them on the news. If you have shut them out of your heart, you have created to the destruction of the planet, to the duality that's tearing us apart. Bring them in. Bring them in, and somehow let love be more powerful. We are a diverse spirituality that seeks first to understand and then to be understood. Yeah, but they don't understand me. They hit first. I invite you to bring your yeah buts next week. We're going to take it a little deeper. I'm going to talk about radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. I want our Unity Church to be founded upon a rock of love that does not waver when it gets uncomfortable and it gets difficult. So you be the hand, you be the eye, I'm going to be the butt. I don't know what I'm going to be. But we're all going to be one part of this great tapestry and put our clay together. I invite you to keep this clay close and to let it be a reminder that we belong to each other. Again,